Why do policemen do that?
I really have no idea, Megan. Perhaps government issue trousers rub, and it's a subtle way of adjusting them. Now, let me think. Let's go through this ourselves. We may spot something the inspector has missed, which wouldn't surprise me, as he's not known for his great powers of observation. Do you know, only last week he actually attempted to arrest a man for loitering with intent? The man was only waiting for a hackney carriage, and to top it all, it was the chief inspector. Right, Mrs. Ball leaves your father his coat at 8 o'clock as usual, and she said he was alone. She then returns to collect the cup at 9, notices that the French window is open, goes to close it, and that is when she discovers your father's body lying on the floor. What can we deduce from that?
Perhaps his cocoa was too hot, so he opened the window to cool it down.
Possibly, but that really doesn't account for the fact that he's dead. Has the inspector given any clues?
No, but he took away the cup for analysis, he said. You don't think he suspects us of poison?
Well, it's a thought. How bad is it?
Dottie's cat died last week. Mrs. Ball said it was because she... Mrs. Ball said it didn't run after a hackney carriage. It does look suspicious, doesn't it?
It does indeed. Excuse me, miss. Can I be off to the email? The inspector says I can.
The inspector? The inspector? Since when did the London Stabby have any say over anything in relation with this household?
He's probably talking about disturbing clues, Megan.
Oh, yes, of course. Carry on, Dottie.
Let's go to the garden.
What is this, Dottie? Oh, my goodness, I know yours.
Certainly not this half family of this I do believe outside the French window there are 4 feet. Has your elastic gone again, Megan?
No, it has not. I doubt very much the inspector would notice footprints outside the French window if he didn't notice these under his nose. Or rather, under the sofa.
Well, under the sofa? What was under there?
I don't know. And more to the point, how did they get there? I wonder what Daddy was up to last night. Those footprints, they weren't 3 inches letters, were they?
Oh no, they've got hobnail boots, size 11.
Gosh, how can you be so sure?
Well, there's a similar imprint on the back of my new green skirt that I wore to the Women's Rights March last night. Do you know, I still have no idea how it got there.
Dottie, get over there, Mrs. Ball, please. Connie, I really don't think they'll be Mrs. Ball's. They wouldn't go around the top of her leg. But who else would wear something like this?
I really don't know. A lady of ill repute? Or someone who wants to hold up their stockings, perhaps.
Oh, very funny, Connie. But what would a lady of ill repute be doing in this house?
I really don't know, Megan. I have a fair idea. Oh, Mrs. Ball, do you recognise these? You wanted me to say sorry. Oh, Mrs. Ball, do you recognise these? Oh, yes, they're mine.
As it is, these Mrs. Bull, the Navy Hibbits. Sir Timothy was strangled. Bit of us now, bit of us, you don't mind. It's been ascertained that Sir Timothy was strangled with a thin material, identity unknown. Well, at least it was. Where did you get these from, may I ask?
I found some on the sofa when I was brushing up this morning earlier.
I see. I shall have to ask each one of you in turn what you were doing on the night in question. I think I'll start with you, Mrs. Bull, if you don't mind, seeing as you seem to think that this apparel belongs to you.
Mine? No, I was mistaken. I thought it was my duster.
I see. Mrs. Bull uses red silk dusters. Well, you'd like to tell us all where you were on the night Sir Timothy was strangled?
I was here. I bought Sir Timothy's cocoa as usual at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
He was alone. I left him and went upstairs to sort the laundry. I spent an hour doing that. And then I came back down to collect his cup like I always do before retiring to bed. I go to bed early because I get so tired working all the hours God sends. I have to do everything around here. If it was left to Dotty, there'd be no clean sheets on the beds. And me and all the cooking and all. I keep telling him that we need him there. No, I keep telling him it's too much. We need more stuff. It's too much for another woman and a young chit of a girl to do. Then it says, and me and all the cooking and all. I keep telling him we need more stuff, and he says he hasn't got the money. Find some money for his fancy women, no doubt. If I was 10 years younger, I'd get myself another job, but I'm stuck with the old road now. No one will take on an old maid. There's no justice. He keeps telling me to do all manner of things that just aren't my job, and I'm supposed to say, yes, Sir Timothy, no, Sir Timothy. It's enough to make you want to... yes, well, when I came in to collect the cup, I noticed that the doors were open, which struck me as a little odd, it being October, but I closed them, and then that's when I noticed Sir Timothy.
And was Sir Timothy alive when you took him his cocoa, Mrs. Bull?
Of course he was. Don't you think I'd have noticed when I put the cup down? He said, thank you, Mrs. Bull, and I left. Now, is there anything else? There's a lot to do. Running at this house doesn't stop.
Yes, just one more thing. What did you do when you saw the body?
I fainted. The next thing I knew was you waving something horrible under my nose.
Oh, what was that then, Inspector?
Smelling salts, Mrs. Payne, just smelling salts. So, you have no idea who called the police then?
No, now can I go?
Certainly. But remember, don't disappear. I may need you for further questioning. Right then, young Dorothy. What about you then?
They were a Thursday, if I remember. Well, of course it was a Thursday. It was yesterday, and seeing as today is Friday, then it must have been a Thursday. I'm just trying to get things clear in here. Oh, Myra, we'll be here for a month. Right, well, Thursdays is my day off. And I usually go and visit my dear old mum. But I didn't this week because my dear old mum was visiting her dear old mum. That's my gran. She's not very well at the moment. She fell over and hurt her hip. Well, she is 87. So she went to see her.
And?
And what? I told you, didn't I?
No, you told us what you normally do, you told us what your mother did, and you told us what your grandmother had done, but you didn't actually tell us what you did.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Well, as I said, I usually go and visit your mum. But because I did this week, I thought I'd go and do a bit of window shopping. Has to be window shopping because I don't have any money what we're getting to Timothy. Because he never gave me any money, you understand? I'm sorry.
You're an ungrateful child.
Oh, I know that. I'm complaining. I was just explaining why I'm window shopping. Well, after it started to get dark, I thought I'd go to the theatre, see how the other art was, so to speak. It only cost a $1 on the Thursday afternoon. I can't remember what it was called, but it was really good. It was all about this man that got killed in the library of his really big house and nobody knew who did it. Mind you, if I'd known, I could have stayed here and seen a real one and stayed for
Yes. Did you see anyone at the theatre that might be able to give you a hangovers?
No, I don't know. It was dark, weren't it? I know, I may have seen someone I know. One of the delivery boys. I'll ask him next time I see him.
Right then. Miss Death.
It's
Well done.
Gia. I need an alibi. Are you seriously suggesting that I may have something to do with the death of my poor dear father?
Just a record here, if you don't mind, Miss, the inspector. He wants everything written down now. He's been acting rather strange just lately. I'm having to do so much paperwork you were Miss Grills. It's a good job I was passing last night, otherwise I wouldn't have heard the scream. Mind you, hearing it over that din in the window while making. Oh, if I were my wife, it wouldn't be happening, I'll tell you. Anyway, your hand, ladies.
Oh, all right. And on the Thursday, I go to local vicarage to my Bibles when he class. Dottie has the day off. There isn't usually anyone in the evening. Daddy goes to help him home suggested time on Thursdays. That's right.
Yeah, so it could have been a planned murder if your father normally goes out on a Thursday. So the murderer must have realised that your father was in that Thursday. Did anyone else know your father was in that Thursday?
Just myself and Mrs. Ball. Dottie had already gone off for the day. Daddy had hurt his foot. He'd had a fall the previous evening. I think he tripped over a lady in the matter. That's his Wednesday night activity, you know. Helping fallen women. You mean he spends all Wednesday evenings picking up ladies that are falling in the gutter? Well, I never did. Who'd have there be enough ladies falling over the I think it's got something to do with those long skirts and high heels that they wear. How does he feel about my granny? She was a falling woman. That's how she hurt her.
Right, Miss Smith.
It's dear.
Anyway, Miss, you were in the Bible study class, that's easy, checked. Now, Mrs. Payne, where were you last night?
Ah, well, Inspector, at 7:15 p.m. precisely, I opened the meeting of the Women's Rights Movement, local branch. I am the chairwoman and a staunch supporter of the rights for women. Equal rights for women, that's what I say. Why should we not be heard? We make up half the world's population, and we should have a say in how our lives are run. I mean, look at the Great War, for example. How on earth could that happen if a woman was involved and in charge? You ask me.
Yes, Mrs. Payne, if you could get back to the matter in hand, if you don't mind.
Sorry. Well, at 8 p.m. we decided to march down the high street to drum up some support. And we ended up outside the town hall, where we chained ourselves to railings. You must remember, Inspector, you were the one who in the hat to order put it off. You arrested me and cautioned me at 8:55 p.m.
Yes, I remember. I just come on duty. I remember now you guns in my new leg. You must put that down. My notebook.
What are you after me? I opened it and you still going.
Hello, dear. I thought I'd find you where all the action was. Hello, Inspector. How are you? Have we caught the culprit yet?
No, not yet, sir. Our investigations are continuing. What were you doing last night, may I ask?
Surely you don't suspect me of doing away with the old buffer, do you? I mean, I know we had a falling out over the dog and everything last week, but my wife and I paid the doctor's fee, and the doctor said it shouldn't affect his ability to have any more children.
Yes, yes. Just routine inquiries.
Let me see. Let me see. Seeing as Connie had gone off on one of her ladies' meetings, women's rights meetings, I decided to stay in and read a book. It was very good. It's called Murder at Midnight. Mind you, if I hadn't that, then I would have come over and seen the real one, wouldn't I?
I see. Very good, sir. Now, ladies, just for the record, I need to know exactly the undergarments with which you keep up your clothes here.
Inspector, is this really necessary?
Oh, yes.
Afraid so, miss. And I'm only doing my job.
Well, you heard the gentleman, ladies. Come along, Dottie.
Dottie.
Does that satisfy the Inspector?